Okay, class, I want you to turn to pages 336 and 337. We're going to do the illustrative problem for Chapter 7 for FIFO and LIFO. I want you to follow along with me, follow along with the book as I work this particular problem out, doing exactly what they're doing on page 337. On page 336, it indicates that Stewart's company beginning inventory and purchases during the year ended December 31st, 2012 were as follows. On January 1, they had inventory of 1,000 units at $50 a piece for $50,000. So I am going to plug this into the grid here, and I'm going to try to bring this in just a little bit. Here we go. Hopefully everybody can see that on the recording in there. Autofocus a little more here. Okay, so on January 1, we have inventory of 1,000 units. We're going to go all the way over here to the inventory side, and we're going to put 1,000 units, 1,000 at $50 each for a total of $50,000. Okay? Alright. March 10th, we purchased 1,200 units at $52.50. So on March 10th, I'm going to purchase 1,200 units at a total of $52.50 each. Oh, messed that up. $52.50 for $63,000. Keep in mind that players make mistakes. Made me a little writing faux pas there. And now I'm going to record my inventory. Sometimes these sheets don't look exactly like the sheets do on in the book, so what we have to do here is we kind of have to improvise. So I like to skip a line here. So I'm going to bring my inventory down 1,000 at 50 each, $50,000, and I now have 1,200 units at $52.50 for $63,000. There's my inventory. I don't want to mess around with this too much, okay? So I'm going to skip a line. And on June 25th, I need to sell 800 units. So on June 25th, I'm going to sell 800 units. However, the question is, where am I going to get the 800 units from? Well, if I'm looking at the inventory that I have right now, I have 1,000 units in a $50 bin. I've got 1,200 units in the $52.50 bin. However, I'm doing FIFO, so I'm going to sell the ones I had first. So I'm going to sell 800 units at $50 each for a total of $40,000. And I'm now going to rewrite my inventory so I have a good grasp on my inventory. I now have 200 units at $50 each for a total of $10,000. And I still have 1,200 units at $52.50 each for a total of $63,000. Right now I have a total of $73,000 in ending inventory, and I have cost of merchandise sold of $40,000. Okay, on August 30th, I need to purchase 800 units to replace the ones I just sold, so I'm going to purchase 800 units. However, these cost me $55 a piece for a total of $44,000. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm now going to list all of my inventory. I have 200 units at 50 for $10,000. I have 1,200 units at $52.50 for $63,000. And I have 800 units at $55 each for a total of $44,000. Okay? Now, I need to actually, at this point, I'm going to slide the paper up just a little bit, so please make sure that you're following along in the chapter on page 337 and 336. On October 5th, we need to sell a total of 1,500 units. But we need to figure out where all these units are going to come from. So, I have 200 I can pull from here, so the first 200 I'm going to sell are going to come from the $50 bin for a total of $10,000. I'm going to sell all 1,200 of these units, $52.50 for a total of $63. And then I have an additional 100 units I need to sell that are going to come from this stock right here. So I have 100 units at 55 each for a total of 5,500. There's my cost of merchandise sold for this particular sale. And now my ending inventory is 700 units and $55 a piece for a total of 38,500. On November 26th, we purchased 2,000 units at $56 a piece for a total of $112,000. I'm going to come all the way over here, bring my inventory down. Do not forget to bring your inventory down. That is probably the culprit to most errors for this chapter, is forgetting to bring down the inventory you already had and including it with what you just bought. So now I have 700 units in the $55 bin, and I've got 2,000 units in the $56 bin. On December 31st, we sold 1,000 units. So I'm going to sell 700 units at $55 a piece. And I need to sell an additional 300 units at $56 a piece for a total of 16,800. And I'm now just going to come over here and adjust my inventory. I have 1,700 units left at $56 a piece for a total of 95,200. There's my ending inventory, 95,200 ending inventory, and my cost of merchandise sold is the total of this entire column here. So my total of cost of merchandise sold is $173,800. This is for the FIFO method, and I'm going to write FIFO right here. FIFO. Cost of goods sold, $173,800, and ending inventory, $95,200. Let's look at the same problem under the LIFO method. Same problem, LIFO method. Still on page 336 and 337. Gonna purchase and sell the same items. Okay? Alright. So on January 1, we had 1,000 units at $50 a piece for a total of 50,000 in inventory. On March 10th, we are going to purchase 1,200 units at a total of $52.50 each for a total of 63,000. We're going to bring our inventory down. Again, remember, this is probably the root cause to all inventory issue counting problems, is forgetting what you already had. Okay. Now, on June 25th, I need to sell 800 units. Now I'm doing the LIFO method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull from the $1,200 units I have here that cost $52.50. Those are the items that I'm actually going to sell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell 800 units at $52.50 for a total of 42,000. That leaves me with 1,000 units, 50. Leaves me with 400 of the $52.50 units. Okay. On August 30th, we purchased 800 units to replace the ones we just sold. They cost us $55 a piece for a total of 44,000. I'm going to come over here and list my inventory. I have 1,000 in the $50 bin. I have 400 in the $52.50 bin. And I now have 800 in the $55 bin. And now I have 3 bins full of inventory. So on October 5th, I need to sell 2,000 units. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm sorry, not 2,000 units. I sold 1,500 units. We're going to sell 1,500 units. But remember, we're going to kind of start backwards. We're going backwards into this. So we're going to start with the 800 units first. So I'm going to sell 800 units from the $55 bin. I'm going to sell 400 units from the $52.50 bin. And I'm going to sell the remaining 300 units from the $50 bin, leaving me with 700 units in the $50 bin for a total cost of $35,000. Okay? On November 26th, I need to purchase 2,000 units. They cost me $56 each for $112,000. I'm going to come over here, bring my inventory down, 700 units at 50. Oh, put in my new 2,000 I just bought. So on December 31st, slide this up just a little bit so everybody can see that. On December 31st, I'm going to sell 1,000 units, taking them all from the $56 bin. Cost me $56,000, leaving me with 700 units in the $50 bin, 1,000 units in the $56 bin, and my ending inventory is now $91,000. $91,000 is my ending inventory, and my cost of goods sold again is made up of this entire column here of cost. And so my total cost of goods sold for the LIFO method is $178,000 cost of goods sold, and that's actually an increase from the FIFO method. And again, this is LIFO. Make sure we understand that this is the LIFO method. Let's do a snapshot of both of them real quick here. The FIFO method gave me cost of goods sold of $173,800, $95,200 in ending inventory. The LIFO method gave me cost of goods sold of $178,000 and ending inventory of $91,000. If I was strictly looking at ending inventory values in this particular example, I would want to go with FIFO. I'm sorry, with the LIFO method, because I'm actually going to pay less taxes on $91,000 worth of inventory. Okay? If I'm looking at the gross profit method and what I want to look at on gross profit, I then want to go with, in this particular case, again, I'm going to go with FIFO because this gives me a higher gross profit. So again, depending on which one, you need to know your market, you need to know what's happening in your market, and you need to be able to calculate the cost of goods sold as well as recording the transactions. You are now free to do your homework.